had with him. So good morning, Dave, and take it away.
Morning, Mike. Thanks a lot. Thanks for being on the call today on the webinar. Appreciate it. What I really want to just first do is tell you a little bit about what we're doing at AIM. We're in the process of creating a dedicated department. We put some human capital with it, and we're aggregating all the information out there on all the carriers that have asset-based long-term care. Our end game goal is to help you place the business, grow your business, and put it with the appropriate company. It's the one side of the health business that we've seen 10% a year growth year over year for the last 5 years. And one little sidebar tidbit on it, if you look at the long-term care seminar that's been going on for the last 10 years, I think it's Jesse Sloan's, we saw 3 years ago there was one seminar on linked benefits products. This year there was 13. You're still ahead of the curve with this. There's still a lot of room for growth, but it's also an area that's seeing more and more traction. And with that, I want to talk a little bit about Megan. Megan's a key partner for us. One America is a key partnering company. They have they have a very unique suite of products that's very customizable for your clients. And Megan, I don't want to take too much away from your webinar, but just in short, Megan's our key account manager. She's been graceful enough to come on this call. And Megan, I'm going to turn it over to you now. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dave and Mike, for getting it all set up. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Granger. I am, as Dave mentioned, the key account manager here at One America, where we focus 100% of our time with our care solutions on asset-based long-term care. That's all that we do. We've been doing asset care for 25 years. We feel that we know it in and out and really have a great, unique product for you. So today I'm going to be going into somewhat detail with our products. It's going to be overwhelming. I'm going to flat out tell you that there's a lot of little nuances. I don't expect you to remember everything I say today, but what I do hope is that you're really going to recognize a great opportunity with our products, and at the end of the presentation, know who to call to get more information and how to start working this in with your current blocks of business and clients. Now, before we get started, I do have to go over a few housekeeping details from compliance. So if you all could take just a moment and review the following on screen. Okay, thanks so much for taking the time to do that. Now, One America
LTC needs at a time when declines are running rampant. If you're not in the market, you
Hello?
should be. Ask for more information.
Hello?
Yeah, we're still okay. Go ahead, Megan.
Okay. So at One America, we're actually a mutual insurance company, and therefore, by nature, we are a conservative company. We really focus on our policyholder. That is in the forefront of our mind. During the economic hardships that our country actually faced a few years ago, we were one of 2 companies that actually received a rating increase from AM Best, and as of today, we still maintain that A+ rating. One thing I just want to note is our promise is to be there when our customers need us the most. To be there when our customers need us the most. I really think that says a lot to our clients. You're going to find that listed in our website, in our annual report. And actually, it's really cool. When you come to our home office in Indianapolis, Indiana, and walk in the One America Tower, which is a huge building downtown Indy with a big flag on the top, that is what you see on the wall when you walk in, to be there when our customers need us the most. I really think you can take that, accompanied with our strong financials, and present a great product to your company and to your client and a wonderful company. Now, before we go into too much on asset-based long-term care, I think it's really important that we do focus on traditional long-term care and just take a moment just to talk about it. So I think it's safe to say that most of our clients that we're talking to really don't think about long-term care. It's really in the back of their mind. They have that mentality that they're either going to die peacefully at home or maybe their children will take care of them. But the truth is 70% of individuals over the age of 65 are going to need some form of long-term care in their life, whether that's just maybe some adult daycare, assisted living, maybe it truly is going into a full-service nursing home. They're going to need something. And as you know, medicine is evolving and people are living longer because of that, but unfortunately our minds are not living as long. So we're seeing a lot more Alzheimer's and things of that nature. So I think it's even more important that people need to focus on long-term care. So traditional long-term care has always been an option for individuals to purchase, but we've really seen some problems with that form of insurance. Many carriers are actually starting to pull out of the marketplace. It can be really difficult to qualify for health-wise. I truly think you almost have to be in perfect health to get an approval from a company, and it can be quite expensive, and many people are starting to see premium increases where they can't even afford to keep it, so they just drop the policy, and now they're uninsured for long-term care. So if the clients are not fond, oh, excuse me, before I go into that, I wanted to just talk about, just show a quick slide. I know these are kind of outdated numbers, but just kind of shows the trends in traditional long-term care sales. Okay, so here I have a basic portfolio. We have a good mix of conservative, aggressive, and moderate assets. And let's say these are my assets. And if I'm not too fond of the idea of traditional long-term care, and I'm not the 30% that's not going to need any care, I'm going to have to self-fund, inevitably. That's what I'm going to have to do. So here are my assets. I'm going to have to start repositioning them in order to pay for care, because we all know long-term care is not cheap, and just because you enter a long-term care facility does not mean that your other expenses are just going to go away. I wish that would be really nice in the world if certain things happen, you didn't have to pay your bills, but that's not how the world works, and we're all going to have to, continue to reposition funds. Now, I'm new in my career. I'm recently married. My husband and I, we're hard workers. We plan and intend on working a long time, because what's important to us is leaving, excuse me for that, is leaving a legacy to our children, to our grandchildren. But if I did not prepare for long-term care and think about long-term care, it's possible that might not happen. I might not be able to do that because this portfolio of assets is going to go to pay for my care and my husband's care. And frankly, it might even go to just one person and not the other. Well, what if there was a different way? What if there was a way that we could protect our assets, to protect what we've worked so hard for? That's the beauty of asset-based long-term care. We're looking at your client's portfolio. We're searching and looking for just a small piece of their pie. Maybe it's money that they just wanted to leave for their beneficiaries already, that we can just take that small sliver out, leverage those dollars to pay for care. Excuse me. So that's the beauty of asset-based long-term care. We're not going to touch the rest of the pie. Think of it moving money from your right pocket to your left pocket. Your clients still own the asset. It's still theirs. They're just earmarking it for a different use. Now here is our our care systems portfolio. We focus on annuities and whole life policies as a way to pay for long-term care. Now, before everyone starts jotting down notes with all this detailed information, do not feel like you have to do that. I am going to send a follow-up email today that's going to include some marketing pieces as well as state availability charts and our external wholesaler guide. So feel free to just listen to me chat, and then you can go into details later and look at the guide. So asset care is a whole life policy. While your clients are living, they're going to utilize the death benefit to pay for long-term care. And we have 4 different versions of asset care. Now, the thing to remember, just focus on the idea of asset care and not asset care 1, 2, 3, or 4. The only difference is how your clients are going to pay for it. When they come to you and say, hey, Joe, I only have extra qualified money, then you come to us and we tell you which version of asset care is the right one for them. But just so that you know, Asset Care 1 accepts non-qualified dollars or maybe an existing life insurance policy with a cash value. Asset Care 2 is going to accept non-qualified annuity. Asset Care 3 accepts qualified money. And Asset Care 4 is your option for clients that may not have a lump sum of cash that they can reposition, but someone that would be more comfortable with an annual pay or a limited pay. Asset Care 4 is really seeing a big increase now for clients that maybe had a traditional long-term care policy and they were paying that annual premium and decided to move over to Asset Care 4. Annuity Care has 3 different versions. We also have 2 products, Legacy Care and Immediate Care. I'm not really going to talk about these today, but I just want you to keep this in the back of your mind. If you have a client that is uninsurable or potentially too old or might actually be in a nursing home receiving long-term care, these 2 products are for you. They are for your clients who are needing care, may need it in the near future. So keep that in the back of your mind. We're not going to focus on those today. We're going to focus on our healthier clients that are looking to prepare. But just remember. Well, let's jump into Asset Care. As I mentioned, this is our whole life policy. The clients are utilizing the death benefit while they're living as a way to pay for care. Here we have a little diagram. We have a husband and wife, both age 65. They took a look at their portfolio and they have $100,000 that they can reposition. This will immediately leverage them a death benefit of $171,000 that they can either use for long-term care or not. It doesn't have to be used. It could be left as a death benefit. Some important notes to make. This product does have a 4% minimum guaranteed interest rate on the cash value. There is optional lifetime coverage available with guaranteed premiums. Let me just repeat that. They have the option of buying a rider that would extend their benefits for their lifetime with a guaranteed premium. If you remember when we talked about traditional long-term care, a lot of people were upset and unhappy that their premiums keep increasing. Well, if you bought our lifetime rider here and your premium was $1,000 a year, every year, it's guaranteed never to increase. Peace of mind. And thirdly, this policy can be joined. We have the patent on the joint and survivorship second to die policy. We are the only company that has that. You might see with some of our competitors where you can get a spousal discount, but each individual purchases their own policy. With us, they're going to buy one policy. They're both going to be on it. Now let's just kind of take a peek at how it works here. So we're going to put in $100,000. That leverages them $171,000 for a death benefit or long-term care. Remember 3 words: quit, live, or die. If your clients come to you and they say, Joe, something came up and I really need that $100,000 back. We had an emergency. I need that funding. At any time, they can walk away with their $100,000 that they put into it. Guaranteed return of premium. And depending on when they decide to walk away, they may be getting more than the $100,000 because there's the 4% minimum guaranteed interest rate. So that was quit. If they live and they need long-term care, they're going to receive a monthly benefit of $3,400. Now this is calculated by the death benefit. It pays 2% of the death benefit for long-term care. And then again, they have the option of those lifetime benefits. So if this was a joint policy, let's say you had a husband, in this scenario, husband and wife, 65, the husband goes on claim first. The base policy typically lasts 50 months. That's $171,000. See, the husband burned through that, but now the wife needs care. Well, in a typical policy, there would be nothing left if they didn't buy the rider. But if they bought the rider, they're now both guaranteed the $3,400 for their lifetime. No questions asked. Guaranteed. Now let's look at a sales idea to kind of highlight asset care. Now, as we know, the baby boomers were one of the very first generations that started using qualified retirement vehicles. Each day, there are 10,000 baby boomers that are turning 65. But many of these are seeing that they have an excess of qualified dollars in their retirement plans that they actually don't need for living expenses. But we all know when they turn 70 and a half, they're going to be required to start taking minimum distributions. So I'm going to show you a way that we can utilize those excess qualified dollars to pay for long-term care. That uses our policy Asset Care 3. As you remember, that is the version of asset care that accepts qualified money. It can cover 2 spouses. And I know you're all probably think I'm crazy. How is a whole life policy going to accept qualified money and cover 2 individuals? Well, the great thing about Asset Care 3 is it also includes an annuity. So in this example I have, and actually I'm going to fast forward a couple of screens. So we have our little circle diagram. Fred and Wilma, both age 65, they took a look at Fred's retirement vehicles, things of that nature, and he had an excess of about $110,000 that they decided that they don't need for care, or excuse me, for retirement living expenses, but they could reposition that as a way to pay for long-term care. We're going to take the $110,000. We're going to do a direct transfer into a qualified annuity at One America. Over the course of 20 years, we're going to make a withdrawal from that annuity, and we're going to fund the life insurance policy. Now, this product has a lot of moving pieces and can get really confusing really fast. I kind of want you to envision an hourglass, and this is how I explain it to producers on the phone, as well as I know a lot of producers that actually demonstrate this to their clients in this example. So an hourglass, when you turn it over, all the sand's up on the top, and it's slowly trickling down into the bottom of the hourglass. So the top of the glass, which is the circle right here, that is your annuity. The bottom is your life insurance policy. So 110 comes over. In the first year, we're immediately going to take out $7,100 and fund the life policy. This $7,100 is a taxable event to the client. So keep in mind, they are going to receive a 1099 each year for 20 years until the annuity goes away, and they have a fully funded life policy that they can use for long-term care or as a death benefit. Now, you might be thinking, well, shoot, what if they go on claim before the 20 years? Can they still access the policy for long-term care? They certainly can. As you remember, the long-term care benefit is typically 2% of the death benefit. If they go on claim before 20 years, we're just going to pull 2% from the annuity and 2% from the life policy to pay. So in this example, immediately, day one, when they move the money over, they have a death benefit of $191,000, a monthly long-term care benefit of about $3,800. Again, Asset Care 3 can cover both spouses. It is a great way to offset taxation. When they're looking at this policy and it's $110,000, you know, that would have to be spread out over, or excuse me, if you went to your current vehicle to take it out and just pay for long-term care, you're going to pay taxes on $110,000 in one lump sum. By moving it to Asset Care 3, it's a nice way to spread out that taxable event over the course of 20 years. And it covers the RMD. That monthly annual distribution that comes out is guaranteed to cover their RMD for this policy for the amount that they put into it, not considering other qualified vehicles that they might have. And thirdly, this product is a great way for estate planning. Let's say Fred and Wilma, they are very wealthy and they have plenty of other funds to pay for long-term care. Maybe they own an Asset Care 1 or an Annuity Care 2, but they just find themselves with extra qualified money. Well, if they're healthy and they don't mind going through underwriting potentially, why not put the $110,000 into Asset Care 3, wait 20 years, and now they're leaving their beneficiaries $191,000 tax-free death benefit instead of $110,000 fully taxable death benefit. It's a no-brainer for someone that has excess qualified money that they just want to leave it to their beneficiary. So really think of that as an option when you're talking to your clients who have extra qualified money. Okay, well, let's move into the annuity side of Care Solutions. So there is huge potential in annuities as a way to pay for long-term care. There are about $1.57 trillion in total deferred annuity assets. 141 billion of those are actually in non-qualified annuities. Now, according to a Gallup survey conducted in 2008, many of those 2009, many of the individuals purchased these non-qualified annuities as a way to pay for an emergency, or maybe use them to pay when they needed long-term care. Many of you probably sold an annuity for that very reason. But the truth is, many of these individuals who purchase these non-qualified annuities are probably going to pass away with them in force, not remembering that they had that annuity earmarked for specific use. So we all know selling annuities many years ago was all about interest rates, the high interest rate environment. Now that we're in a low interest rate environment, insurance companies had to think of unique ways to market their annuities and sell their annuities. And really, people started focusing on value. What kind of value does this annuity offer? We saw increased sales with the guaranteed income riders, more equity indexed annuities, things of that nature. Well, here at Care Solutions, our form of value is found in the form of tax advantages through the Pension Protection Act, which was developed in 2006. Now, we're going to talk about the Pension Protection Act in just a moment, but before we do that, I want to go back to my portfolio just to highlight how we're doing the same thing, just utilizing an annuity instead of a life insurance policy. So again, these are my assets. I have a good mix. We look here and we see $150,000 that is available to reposition. Maybe this is an existing non-qualified annuity. It could even be a qualified annuity, or maybe it's just cash, something of that nature. Okay, so here we're going to talk about the Pension Protection Act. Now, let's go back to the example where many of those individuals purchased an annuity as an emergency, a way to pay for an emergency, long-term care. So I put in $50,000. I had $100,000 in gain, so now I have $150,000 of a cash value. Well, the time has come. I need to enter a nursing home facility. I'm going to start making withdrawals from that annuity to pay for long-term care. However, this isn't a PPA-compliant annuity, so I'm going to have to pay taxes on the gains. And if I'm in the 25th tax bracket, 25% tax bracket, I'm going to pay about $25,000 in taxes. So, yeah, I have $125,000 left to pay for long-term care, that's not too shabby. But what if there was a way that it could be more? The beauty of a PPA-compliant annuity. So by simply doing a 1035 exchange into, in our example here at Care Solutions, Annuity Care or Annuity Care 2, I now have $150,000, and it's all going to come out tax-free when I need long-term care. They will never have to pay a penny in taxes if they're using non-qualified dollars, as long as it's a PPA-compliant annuity. It's a no-brainer to me. If you were the agent who sold them the original annuity, we're still selling them annuity. We're just putting it in an annuity that offers better tax advantages for what they're trying to do. So let's look at our two products here. So we have Annuity Care, which was the very first form of annuity care that was created. Think of it as two separate contracts. Just like Asset Care, there's an optional continuation of benefits rider that your clients can purchase. But the base contract will pay for 36 months. It's going to pay out about 2.9% of the value of the annuity as their long-term care benefit. And then by adding the continuation of benefits, they can add an additional 36 months on. Now, certain states have brought back the lifetime rider for Annuity Care, just like Asset Care has lifetime in some states. Now Annuity Care, that's being brought back. So again, take a look at your availability grid, talk to Dave, talk to our sales desk to know that which one's available for your state. Now Annuity Care 2 was actually developed in response to the Pension Protection Act of 2006. Annuity Care 2 has that continuation of benefits rider included in the contract. Your clients don't have an option to choose it if they're going with Annuity Care 2. They are it's part of their contract. What's nice is the continuation of benefits, that charge is included in the policy. It's coming out behind the scenes. Your clients don't have to write us an annual check, a monthly check, anything of that nature. It just happens. They put in their $100,000. They don't have to worry about it. Now, when they purchase Annuity Care 2, depending on their age, they have some options to choose. They can choose an additional 36 months, an additional 72 months, or 108 months, depending on their age. Your base policy, if it's a single annuitant, is going to last for 24 months. If it is a joint annuitant policy, it's going to be 30 months. And just a side note, let's say you had an existing non-qualified annuity that just had one individual on it, and both spouses really wanted to be covered. We can do that. We're just going to add that second spouse on as an eligible person. So they don't have any ownership rights in the contract, but should they need to receive long-term care benefits, they are eligible to receive those benefits. So both those individuals would go through underwriting.
Hey, Megan, we've got a question about qualification, what it takes for an annuity to be PPA qualified.
I don't know the specifics in the the legal jargon and what makes it specific. That I could research and see if some of our executives might know the answer to that. But there are specific requirements to make it a PPA compliant annuity, and I apologize, I do not know what those are.
Okay, we'll see if you can find out. Let us know back then. Go ahead.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, so let's move into an example of how Annuity Care 2 works. So we have a female age 70. This is a single annuitant policy. She puts in $100,000. Again, maybe that's just money that she had in a savings account, or maybe it's an existing non-qualified annuity. She puts in the $100,000. That $100,000 buys her an additional $150,000 to use for care. That will last her an additional 36 months. So her total pool to use for long-term care is $250,000. If she did the 72-month option, she now has a $400,000 pool of money. And then the last option, since she's age 70, she can go up to the 108-month option. Her total pool is $550,000, and that would last her 11 months for long-term, or excuse me, 11 years for long-term care. And I know you're probably thinking that seems a bit extreme, but as I mentioned, a lot of individuals are living a lot longer and are needing long-term care facility in their plan. Now here I just want to look at the side-by-sides of Annuity Care versus Annuity Care 2. Annuity Care is going to accept partial 1035, but Annuity Care 2 is not. The benefit types, both policies at this time are only reimbursement. Annuity Care 2, and you'll notice this even on the application, it gives you an option to select indemnity. At this time, we are not offering that. It is only reimbursement. The elimination period for Annuity Care is 7 days. For Annuity Care 2, it's going to be 90 days. Qualified funds, yes, for Annuity Care, but not for Annuity Care 2. And just remember, if someone's using qualified dollars on Annuity Care, it is not a PPA-compliant annuity. Another thing I want to touch on, just real quick, about our underwriting at One America for our care solutions. Our underwriting is very different from other carriers. For asset care, it will start with a telephone interview, and depending on how that went, or even the information provided on the application, they do their best to complete underwriting through a phone interview. However, they may have to move to traditional underwriting if you have someone that has had a history of cancer, or maybe hasn't seen their doctor in a year. Those people are going to move to traditional. Annuity Care and Annuity Care 2, the underwriting on Annuity Care 2, on Annuity Care, if they want the COB rider, it's going to be a telephone interview. That's it. They're going to make their decision based on that phone interview. It's generally about 20 to 30 minutes, so that's really nice. Annuity Care, if you had a client that did not want the continuation of benefits rider, there are 4 strikeout questions on the app, and we're going to pull an MIB and a prescription history, and we'll make our decision from that. We don't even have to call the client. So very different underwriting from other carriers. We try to make it as simple as possible for them because we know our clients really don't like to have to go through full underwriting if they don't have to. So that concludes the presentation about products. Just a few notes to recap. Asset-based long-term care, it's all about looking for an asset that your client currently has that they can reposition. It's still their asset. At the end of the day, they have an annuity or a whole life policy that have different uses. But the main one that we're trying to protect against is the need for long-term care. So I guess we'll take a look and see if there are any more questions.
I'm unmuting folks right now, so anybody who's got questions, go ahead and give a shout. We do ask, once you're unmuted, if you're not going to jump in, if you don't have anything you want to ask, to go ahead and individually mute yourself by hitting *6. That way we don't get dogs barking and kettles whistling and Christmas lists being read to people on the cell phone and things like that. So, Megan, thank you so much for taking your time to help us. Let's get some questions out there for Megan. There we go, right there. Okay, figured out who the culprit was there. All right, moving right along.
Well done, Mike.
Okay. Again, questions for Megan. Because of for compliance reasons, we're not able to make the PowerPoint available to you, but Megan said that she will have some deliverables afterwards, marketing pieces and some other contact information and such to help everybody out. So,
Can you hear me?
yes, you can. Go ahead.
Why would I want to question? This seems like there's a lot of moving parts, as said, and it's why would I want to do this as opposed to, say, a money guard, where it's just life insurance with long-term care benefits, a linked hybrid product, which is seems to me it's the same sales.
You want me to field this question, or do you?
Sure.
I think the main difference between ourselves and MoneyGuard, and the product I showed you today is Asset Care 3. This is one of 4 of the Asset Care. What we offer and that our competitors don't offer is the ability to have a joint policy, and secondly, we can accept almost any kind of funding that your clients have. So I wanted to focus on Asset Care 3 as a unique way to utilize qualified dollars versus someone that may only have non-qualified money. So just keep that in mind when looking at Care Solutions versus other companies. We're across the gamut. We have it all.
And Megan, I'm going to give you guys a commercial. Although we represent MoneyGuard as well, I think one of the advantages of State Life is, they have great ratings, but really it's the streamlining of the underwriting process. MoneyGuard will say, 6 weeks to get from point A to point B, but the reality is that we find that it's stretched out significantly, and the decline ratio at MoneyGuard, that's where we come in and say, hey, this is a client that should not go to MoneyGuard because we're going to see a decline there. Let's go ahead and look at X. Now, in One America, the product suite is such that there's not a single source of funds that you can answer the question, what are you funding your care with? That answer to that question is not a single source that they can't utilize and make work. And lastly, the secondary offers, if we go in and apply for Asset Care, which is the life chassis version of the Asset Care suite, it's of the State Life product suite, and we get a decline there, it's a yes, no, or maybe. That maybe is, hey, we're not okay with it on the life side, but we're completely comfortable with it on the annuity side, and it's a little bit more of an easier process for you to transition your client to a new product because it's in the same company.
How about versus an IUL with a ABR attached to it?
So we have those as well. We've got 4 or 5 companies that we work with that we use IULs. What we're really
I think what I'm getting at, there's a lot of different options out there to cover long-term care these days, as opposed to the traditional use it or lose it policies, which she touched on at the beginning.
And my department focuses on all of them.
Right, and this just kind of adds another, per se, arrow in the quiver for you to offer options to your clients, and I think
It
that's
is.
absolutely
That's exactly.
awesome.
I think we're probably semantics at this point. We both agree on that. And there is. And like the IUL is a great version for a 40 or 50-year-old client as well. But when we get to that age where we see that 65-plus client, there's some limited options. And the only place that we can do the LTC rider on the packaged products on the life side is One America Joint. And that's where I think we see a lot of traction with this. But, yeah, the IUL is a great idea as well. We represent, my department represents all of them, from the annuity suite to the packaged to the ULs and the IULs of the world. And then also there's even a guaranteed issue product out there that's an enhanced annuitization strategy.
Okay. Good question. Good exchange back and forth. Any other questions out there? Well, the sound of crickets. That generally means that you answered all the questions going through, Megan. That's always a good thing, believe it or not. So, all right, we'll get the info to Megan as far as who our participants were this morning. She'll get back to you with her follow-up, including the materials that she talked about. And we will, Dave's here and available to try to help folks with cases that they feel like might fit within this space. I would encourage you very strongly from a standpoint of Dave's availability to not call with a hypothetical. If you have somebody, client's name, their age, the amount of money they've got, where they've got it, the kinds of questions he's going to immediately ask you, give us a ring. But, just working on a hypothetical means that later on, when you've got an actual case, somebody else is going to have Dave tied up working on a hypothetical. So looks like we've got one question that somebody keyed in here. No, just a thank you for it. So very good. All right.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.